Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having an awesome start to your day. And I hope everyone has had a great week out there as it comes to an end and we're about to head off into our weekend. And I certainly hope if you're watching this later in the day, maybe after you're getting home from work, that you're having an awesome start to your weekend for a lot of folks. This is going to be probably kind of a hectic weekend with you doing some last second Christmas shopping or maybe just doing some festive activities, and maybe there's some flakes flying around while you're doing those activities. Or for some people like me, it could just be more of an inward weekend. I know for me, I'm going to be just hanging out, watching some college football, maybe making some Christmas cookies and all that cool stuff. So regardless, hope you guys are doing well this morning. We got some things to talk about. The first thing we'll speak on is this, I would say, large but not very significant winter weather event ongoing right now. And this is going to overspread across the Northeast. So we're going to get really detailed on how much snow could fall for all these individual areas across the Northeast, going all the way down to the southern apps, including like Tennessee, North Carolina. For example, we'll speak heavily on the details with that, and then we'll get everybody covered as far as the entire Lower 48 for your day, and we'll kind of ooze this into Saturday too for certain areas of the country. And then after we get done doing that, what's going to happen next? Okay, at least I'm already starting to kind of look at that period weather-wise between Christmas Day and New Year's. Is anything going to happen in that period of weather? We know it's going to be warmer than average temperature-wise for most of the country, but is there going to be any kind of storm systems? There's some chatter out there about the potential for some severe weather. We're going to speak on that a little bit, and then of course get more and more detailed in the days to come. And at the very end of the video, for us winter weather fans, cold weather fans, I'll shed some light on what we're seeing as we're getting into the early portion of January. As believe it or not, it's the 20th. And it's kind of sad, but the best time of the year is almost at an end. It's drawing to a close, and I always say the best time of the year is from September till the end of the year, and here we are, about to be over already, but that's just the way it goes. Time just flies on by, doesn't it? But anyways, if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling this morning. So as you notice, it's not in motion. It's because we're having a little bit of a glitch right here, and it is just throwing my eyes off big time. So I'm not going to spend long on this, but I do want to show you what's going on. Got some energy up here, and then we have this is the main area of energy that is bringing snow right now across lower Michigan, the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and starting to take over a good chunk of PA now. It's starting to move into New York State, and we'll just have to see what happens with the coastal low developing right now off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic. And then this back-end energy here will swing all the way down to the southern app. So let's go on and just get this off your screen because the glitching out there is killing me. But as far as this watches, warnings, and advisories, we have a lot of winter weather advisories. And I'll start off down here in the mountains of North Carolina and Virginia and Tennessee. These are special weather statements, and this is for, maybe a little bit of rain, changing to snow this afternoon across the Cumberland Plateau and some of the mountains of sort of extreme southeast Tennessee. And even Chattanooga has a special weather statement right now. And we have some special weather statements down here for Alabama, but this is more so for some patchy freezing fog, not really because of the light snow, but I could see some flurries kind of getting down here. We have some special weather statements down here for the southern Cumberland Plateau. And, we could get some flakes down here, but this is really driven off of freezing fog. But once we start to get into the mountains here, these are winter weather advisories. We got them for like Haywood County here, like Waynesville, Maggie Valley. We got them up here for Boone, the Roan Mountain area, even in the Gatlinburg area. But this is mainly for the Smokies. And then we do have special weather statements all across northeast Tennessee, and this is just for some scattered light snow over the next 24 hours. And of course, we got them up here in West Virginia for just flat out snow. And we have to see. I think we'll get at least some special weather statements across the rest of Kentucky, like in this area right here for some snow. And then we have special weather statements for a little bit of snow, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Oddly enough, really not enough to put winter weather advisories up. But we could see some of this switch to winter weather advisories across Indiana, maybe all the way down to Kentucky, maybe sections of Ohio. But as of now, just special weather statements. We do continue to have the winter weather advisories up here for lower Michigan. We have the ongoing winter storm warnings that will expire here in the next 30 minutes in like Green Bay. But this is for what's to come. So this is where it gets interesting. Winter weather advisories are up for like Buffalo up to Rochester. Confidence is high enough for accumulating snow. Erie, including even Cleveland. And we even have one or two random winter weather advisories like between I think y'all pronounce it. No, it's Allentown and Scranton. Winter weather advisory here but between both of you guys. But you know, there's no winter weather advisories anywhere else in PA. We have special weather statements across southern New England, and it says light snow today through tonight, 1 to 2 inches of snow. I expect some winter weather advisories to get issued, at least more of them to get issued throughout the day. But as of now, there's not a lot of alerts for this event. So it just tells you that this is going to just be more of a festive event, not a significant winter storm by any means. Now, let's break down the southeast first, and I will cover the southern Alps region as far as the snow chances. So we're starting off this morning. Cool air starting to make its way through. Here's that low pressure developing off the mid-Atlantic coastline. And then once we get into this afternoon, we'll start to get some snow showers. Now, I do think we'll have a larger coverage of snow showers up here in Kentucky and eastern Tennessee than maybe what the HRRR model is showing. But this is an interesting little setup here in the Piedmont of North Carolina, getting into the PD of South Carolina, the Sandhills of North Carolina. You see some thunderstorms here. I'll talk about that here in a second. But just taking a broad look at this, we'll get all the way into this evening. Cold air starts to move through, but we'll continue these snow showers up here. That's a broad look, and I just want to show everybody because, you know, as you can tell, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, etc. Not going to get anything really from this, but we zoom into this area. All right, starting it off this morning, we keep this rolling here. Here comes the energy, swinging down from the trough. All right, this is getting into about lunchtime. We start to get some mainly rain in Charleston. We get some snow in the higher elevations of West Virginia. We're starting to get a wintry mix in those higher elevated regions in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. And then here comes the snow shower activity, swinging all the way down to the Cumberland Plateau. Can we get some flurries all the way to Nashville? I think it's possible. I think most of it will stay to your east, though. But snow showers throughout Kentucky this afternoon. You know, I keep thinking in my head, you know, today's probably the last day of school before Christmas break for a lot of these kids. So I don't think this is going to be enough to cancel school. So it could be just one of those festive, magical events where you're getting off the school bus here in Kentucky or something and the snow's flying around. What a wonderful way to kickstart your Christmas break, right? You know, I'm always thinking of those just amazing scenarios. I got to move up north, guys. It's killing me. But you continue to keep this going here. We're getting into this afternoon. And, you know, the HRRR model, not quite as aggressive with it. It's just scattered about. It does bring some snow all the way over to Bowling Green. A little chunk of snow here in central Kentucky. Look at the snow falling in northern sections of the Cumberland Plateau. A little bit of snow getting all the way down to the Smokies. There's two things going on here. Obviously, the snow right here this afternoon to this evening. And you see these like thunder showers right here from Charlotte to Fayetteville down to Florence. These are going to catch some people off guard today. I'm telling you right now, if you live in this area, North Carolina and South Carolina, these are likely going to produce some small hail or grapple. Grapple's kind of like a mixture between sleet and snow. And it's really white, kind of like hail, but it's a different look. It's hard to explain, but it happens when you have a lot of cold air aloft. Now, I do think a cold pocket of air aloft is going to swing over this area, and I do think we're going to get, it's probably going to be just hail. And a little bit of grapple is possible, but this is going to throw some people for a loop in this area this evening. So if you live kind of along the South Carolina, North Carolina border over here in the Sandhills and PD region, don't let this surprise you because it could, people are going to be like, yo, what is this? But some snow showers will continue in eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, and then we'll just continue to get these snow showers all the way into the Tri-Cities region. You know, Mountain City, Johnson City, you guys could certainly get some snow showers later this evening into the overnight hours. Maybe some flurries. Try to make it to northern Alabama. You can see some scattered, you know, blobs of blue back here. And this continues, and this will last all the way into tomorrow morning. I think we'll have snow showers throughout this area all the way through tomorrow morning. So you do look at the NAM, and it's a little bit more aggressive with this. Kind of just throws a big area of precipitation by the time we get into lunchtime today. You see southern Ohio, which I'll show more of here in a second. And then look at all the snow in northern Kentucky. And then look, I mean, by the time we get into this afternoon, it's around 3 or 4 o'clock. Some flurries flying around, very light snow. And the Cumberland Plateau, look at this light to moderate snow across Kentucky. And I would say western Kentucky is probably not going to get much of this, but it's snowing pretty good in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee and western Virginia. And then like Beckley looks like it's snowing. Jackson, I mean, eastern Kentucky. I mean, this would be a nice little festive Friday night event. I mean, it really would. Kind of one of just those nights, like I said, that you turn on a Christmas movie, you pull across, you not open the windows, but you have the Christmas tree right beside the window, and it's just some light to moderate snow falling out there. Just a very nice pre-Christmas event for you folks that, you guys have seen a lot of these events since November. But this will continue, just light snow flying around, as you can tell, and then we get into tomorrow morning, and I do think some snow is still hanging up against some of those higher mountaintops in these regions and just higher elevated regions, stuff like that. But spent a lot of time on that, but this is what it looks like for Kentucky, anywhere from, nothing to a trace. I do think these areas where it just shows a trace of snow will get as high in as an inch. For example, I think Harlan, they were calling for 1 to 2 inches of snow, now just a trace to 1 inch. But I think that some of these areas could sneak in an inch of snow. I really do. Black Mountain, obviously higher elevated region, 2 to 5 inches of snow is what they're calling for. But that's higher terrain. Everywhere else, guys, though, you go to Mount Sterling, 0 to 1 inch. Flemingsburg, 0 to 1 inch. And, kind of the same thing for the rest of northern Kentucky. We go over to West Virginia, Charleston, they're not calling for anything, but down to Logan, inch, Grundy, 1.5 inch, Beckley, maybe 2 inches of snow, Summersville, 2 to 3 inches of snow, Snowshoe, 3 to 4, Elkins, 1 to 2. But once you get into northern West Virginia, not really calling for any accumulating snow, but that doesn't mean you can't get some snow flying around. National Weather Service out of Virginia here, Blacksburg, and not calling for any accumulating snow, but Bluefield maybe an inch. Withville, 0.2 of an inch. Might have pronounced that wrong, but Lewisburg, 0.2 of an inch. Boone going for about 0.5 inch. I could see more than that falling for sure. And then we head on down here to eastern Tennessee and areas of Kentucky and Virginia. Greenville, maybe 0.6 of an inch of snow, around 0.5 inch. Kingsport, 1/10 of an inch. Mountain City, 0.5 inch. I know it doesn't show what like Johnson City in this, but probably around anywhere from a few tenths of an inch of snow to maybe 0.5 inch. Gatlinburg going for about 0.4 of an inch of snow. But the Smokies right up, you're right up against the Smokies, could get several inches of snow. Definitely if you're going to the mountains this weekend, by the time you wake up Saturday morning, you are going to see snow, kind of in the distance from the Smokies. Morristown, maybe 0.2 of an inch of snow. And then the northern Cumberland Plateau, a few to several tenths of an inch of snow is possible with this. And I'll even look at the National Weather Service out of Nashville. Cooksville, an inch or less. Jamestown, kind of the same thing. Crossville, a little bit of snow flying around as possible. And then my friends here in the Greenville-Spartanburg area calling for about 1/10 of an inch of snow. Waynesville, Robbinsville, about 0.3 of an inch. Burnsville, about 0.5 inch. Newland, around an inch of snow. Asheville, I definitely think you guys could get some flurries from this. I definitely think that some snow will break containment in this area, and at least we could get a dusting where they're not calling for any snow. I really think that's possible. Up here in the Northeast, so I'll kind of show you the HRRR model run, and then I'll show you the GFS run, okay? So starting off this morning, I think the HRRR model is doing pretty well verifying the snow in PA right now, but as we're starting to get to about midday, look at the light to moderate snow overspreading most of the state of New York. It's snowing as far south as just north of Washington, D.C., according to this. You got kind of maybe a rain-snow mix, or just rain in New York City. Then you got two things happening. The energy associated with the northern stream here, and then the coastal low trying to develop. And then what's going to happen here? This afternoon is going to be very interesting. All right, we got snow overspreading, just a very festive snow. I know I keep saying that, but I love the words. But just some light, maybe at times moderate snow overspreading Vermont, getting into New Hampshire, Western Mass. Just light snow overspreading areas of PA. We got the snow falling here in the Poconos, the Catskills of New Jersey, PA, and of New York State. And then things get kind of weird here. We start to get into this evening. Coastal lows is rapidly deepening out here. And we're going to have a band of snow that tries to make it all the way to Boston. I definitely think it'll affect Southeast Mass, out in the Cape Cod region. We got this happening. This could dump a period of moderate to heavy snow. How far west does this tick? We're not sure. The herd model's not very excited about it. But it does get this snow all the way up to the coastal regions of Maine, even the down east areas of Maine. And we still have this kind of inverted trough here that's going to swing some snow overnight tonight into New Jersey, into New York City, across eastern PA, southern New York State. And I really think there could be a surprise somewhere in eastern PA, New Jersey, include New York City into that, areas of Long Island, heck, maybe even northern Delaware. There's going to be some sort of surprise here. Someone's going to get more snow than what you're forecasting, which I'm about to show you in a second. So you got this ongoing, a little bit of lake effect action, northwest flow, more so just northerly flow going. And then you had the coastal low getting the snow band all the way up to Caribou. And then look at this little area of snow tomorrow morning making its way throughout the state of New Jersey. And you can see some darker shades of blue here in New Jersey. This snow is making it all the way down to Dover, snowing lightly tomorrow morning across Long Island. And then by the time we get into around lunchtime, it should be about done. But we could get maybe some ocean effect snow ongoing here between Cape Cod up to the coastal areas of Maine. I could see some some ocean effect snow, which is a thing. So what about the GFS? GFS gets this going. This is the interesting trend with the GFS this morning. Okay, obviously we're going to get this northwest flow snow down here and then the back end energy up here. But look how it begins to connect the northern stream energy with the coastal low here. This is a heck of a trend. We'll go 4 runs back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now watch as the precipitation really fills in as I go to the current run. Bang. All of a sudden, it gets a band of pretty heavy snow into the eastern sections of southern New England. And then, even into the overnight hours, has a band of snow still ongoing in Boston. Then there's that inverted trough look here, throwing in that precipitation in the form of snow tomorrow morning for the New York City area. And then we could still just have snow flurries and light snow showers flying around tomorrow across New England. So how much snow, guys? Well, there hasn't been a lot of changes in Maine, and this could tweak some. Eastport still going for 4 to 6. 2 to 3 for Bar Harbor, 1 to 2 now in Bangor. Caribou going for 1 to 2 inches of snow. Augusta, inch or less. Just everybody here in southern sections of Maine, just an inch or less of snow. We'll see if that changes. The state of New Hampshire. Everybody can get about an inch or less of snow. Portsmouth, maybe just a solid inch. This could change, especially for the coastal regions, which I know is a very small area of New Hampshire. This could change. Then you look at Vermont and northern sections of New York, the Adirondacks. Folks, the general theme up here is around 1 to 2 inches of snow for everybody. You just see 1s and 2s. Not a big event, just a light, long duration kind of event, but it's just going to be light. For right now, they're just going for about an inch in Boston. But listen, don't look at this and say, man, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going for a little bit more. Scattered 1 to 3 inch snowfall totals out here. And for example, Provincetown, just out here in Cape Cod, Southeast Mass, Nantucket, even an inch. Martha's Vineyard, an inch of snow. Providence, inch, maybe an inch and a half of snow. Plymouth, inch, some change. But listen, this could change. And then, other areas, Pittsfield, about an inch of snow. Albany, 2 inches of snow. Binghamton, about 2 inches of snow. And we keep making our way throughout New York. Syracuse, about 4 inches of snow. Rochester, this could be one of your bigger events of the winter. 7 inches of snow. Binghamton, 2, already mentioned that. Scranton, about an inch of snow. Monticello, 2 inches of snow. Wellsboro, PA, 3 inches. And then we make our way to Buffalo. Buffalo going for about 3 inches of snow. Hopefully you can see everybody on your screen. Erie, about 4. Jamestown, 4 inches. And then we bog it back down here to New York. So this is a favorite area, a lot of people are tuning into because this area has not gotten a lot of snow lately. But the NYC area in general, about a half an inch to maybe an inch of snow. Now Long Island, kind of the same thing. You get just north and northwest of New York City, maybe a couple inches of snow, especially once you start to get in some of those higher hills. Middletown, New York, maybe around 2 inches of snow. This could change. This is an area that could overachieve, I'm telling you. And it's even picking up on this band now. They bumped up totals in New Jersey. Allentown, 1 to 2 inches of snow now. Mount Pocono, 3 to 4. Philadelphia, an inch or less. Dover not calling for anything, but I'm telling you, you could get snow down here. And, get in the southern New Jersey, inch or less of snow. Reading inch or less, but we'll see what happens with this. PA, northern Pennsylvania, scattered 2 to as much as 5 inch snowfall total. State College going from 1 to 3. Scranton anywhere from 1, but you could get 4 inches of snow. Some of these are a little bit different compared to the other outlooks I show. For example, Binghamton, I think I said 2, but this says 2 to 5. Pittsburgh, inch or less. Johnstown, PA, 1 to 3. Meadville, 2 to 4 inches of snow. Gettysburg, an inch or less. Philadelphia, same thing. And then we go on down here to the DC and Baltimore area. Not calling for any snow down here, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't get a little bit of snow. Once you get north, Hagerstown, inch or less. Winchester, same thing. Cumberland, same thing. Oakland, about 2 to 3 inches of snow. So we'll see what happens. But I'm telling you, I do want to mention there is a boom scenario for some of these areas. And I'm actually going to show you the GFS and spend a couple more minutes on this. And let's see. And, here it is. The GFS going for maybe 3 to 4 inches in Boston. And it wants to dump. It's about the same as the National Weather Service forecast. It really is, but it does want to put like an inch, a solid inch, maybe 2 inches of snow from New York City throughout Long Island. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm very interested to see how this unfolds. I think some areas, this is a tough forecast for the National Weather Service. It is. I mean, it's just very splotchy in nature, and it's going to be a tough one. It really is. But the South Central U.S. continues just to be bone dry, quiet. I do think things could get active in here in this area between Christmas and New Year's, but for now, it's pretty quiet. The rest of the North Central U.S., this system is pulling out now, but we're going to be dealing with some light and burst of moderate snow throughout Indiana, as you can tell down here, throughout the morning, and then some snow will begin to fall across like southwest Ohio, and then that energy will begin to move into Kentucky. As we're getting into this afternoon, just some leftover snow showers are possible. We could get some flurries flying around anywhere in Ohio, really anywhere in Indiana, even though it doesn't show much here. We could still have some snow flurries flying around. Some lake effect snow will be wisping around up here in the UP and then into lower Michigan. What gets this band of snow that'll continue to move throughout North Dakota, and then it'll kind of die out in eastern South Dakota. And we'll just get some lake effect snows overnight. Not very heavy. I mean, if you get in one of these bands, it'll be heavy. But not a big event is what I'm trying to say. So we'll kind of look at pivotal weather here, but Marquette could get another 4 to 5 inches of snow between now and the next 48 hours. And then just these favored lake effect snow belt areas up against Lake Superior could get a few inches of snow. But not much more snow over the next, I would say, 48 hours. Once you get into lower Michigan, between now and the end of this event, Detroit could get another inch of snow. Kalamazoo, 1.5 inches. Grand Rapids, 1.5 inches. Mount Pleasant, 2 to 3 inches of snow. Traverse City, 2 to 4 inches of snow. And then we head on down here to Illinois and Indiana. And now I think tonight Notre Dame and Indiana play. But I think most of this snow will be just about done by the time we get into game time tonight. But we could be left over with some flurries. I just think it's going to be cold. But it is always wild. Now that we have the college football playoffs, we have the chance for snowstorms because they play so late into December. But let me know what you've seen in Chicago so far. I know, Scott, you always do a great job updating me in this area. But going for an inch of snow before it's all said and done. Going for about 6/10 of an inch of snow. 6/10 of an inch of snow in Indianapolis. Fort Wayne, 2 inches. South Bend, 2.5 inches of snow. Louisville, about 1/10 of an inch. And then let's switch it to Ohio. Ohio could get, you could get a 1/2 inch of snow in Columbus, maybe an inch. of snow from Troy down to Dayton. Same thing with Lima. Toledo to Bowling Green, about a half an inch. Cleveland could get about 2 inches of snow, 2.5 inches in Akron. Once you get up here into the northeast corner of Ohio, you guys could get 5 to maybe 7 inches of snow. So we'll see what happens with that. Cincinnati, almost an inch of snow is forecast, about 7/10 of an inch. That's enough to make everything white. So yeah, enjoy the festive mood flakes today across all those areas. I'm very jealous. In a jokingly playful way, of course. But the western U.S., quiet weather continues to dominate your pattern. Besides that snow in the Dakotas, everybody else just continues to be quiet. Now, we will have a big storm system that will enter the West Coast tomorrow morning, but nothing too extreme one way or the other about it at all. Temperatures, we got this area of cold air going all the way down into northern Alabama and Mississippi and Arkansas. I mean, it's just going to be a very cold day across these areas. I mean, the Cumberland Plateau, for example, might not get above freezing for highs. I remember pulling this up this morning and I was like, wow, it's getting that cold. But yeah, cold up in the northeast. The cold air is just getting to the southeast. A chilly day across the Midwest and Ohio Valley in the 30s. Get locked in below freezing up here in the north central U.S. And this is the western U.S. Well above average temperatures continue to affect your area. Very nice in the southwest. Ron, hope you're doing well here in San Diego. We haven't heard from you in a while, but I am hoping you're doing okay. But it's been very quiet down here in Southern California for a very, very long time. Bill, hope you're doing good in Las Vegas. The weather's been quiet there. But going forward, guys, we'll spend a few minutes on this. Listen, the pattern favors well above average temperatures between Christmas and, all the way through New Year's Day. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook. This takes us from the 25th through the 29th. And, pretty much literally the entire country, lower 48, is favoring above average temperatures. And even the 8 to 14 day outlook, the confidence is starting to lower out in the western U.S. But this takes us to the 2nd of January. And it just looks like we're going to, bring in the new year warmer than average for most. That doesn't mean it's going to be in the 80s across the south, but it is going to be above average temperature wise. So we'll see what happens with this. But what about storm systems? What are we seeing? One thing I want to note here is the days leading up to Christmas, like early next week. We do have this clipper that'll move in, deliver some snow across the Great Lakes regions, getting into the 23rd. And then this could bring Christmas Eve morning some more festive flakes across the Northeast. And maybe all the way down to New York City and maybe over to Boston also. This will kind of move in and move out, but once again, not a big system. And then for Christmas Day, we could be dealing with a storm system over the kind of Mississippi Valley area. And this doesn't really survive much. And then we start to get into, I'm going to tell you one thing though, the Christmas Day to New Year's period, the model swings are wild. We're not getting high confidence on time frames and storm systems at all. But what I can tell you is it's a lot of rain. There's so much warm air that we're getting rain all the way up into the Great Lakes region. And then we get into the 28th next weekend after Christmas. Look at this surge of rain all the way up to Canada, guys, on the 29th of December. And then we're getting rain across the eastern U.S. Could there be severe weather with this? Absolutely. We're getting to the 10-day mark, so we're getting into the 30th of December. And this is when some cold air could start to drop back down, but it's not going to be a lot at first, and it just gets weird. You have just weird energy flying around everywhere. And, same thing with the Euro. The Euro isn't much different. There's that little system right before Christmas. This is Christmas Eve. A little bit of snow, Christmas Eve snow. That'll be nice across the Northeast. Enjoy it because winter is going to leave for a while. And, we get into the 26th. We got energy across the Southeast. Some energy across the south central U.S. Is that some severe weather? It could be. And then what happens after that? There's just weird energy everywhere. There's nothing that looks very like there it is, except when you get closer to New Year's. Here's a more powerful system starting to show up. And that's the same thing with the GFS. Once we get closer to New Year's Eve, New Year's, then we start to see some larger cyclones out here, some bigger storm systems. Cold air begins to dive back down. The Euro says, hey, the cold air is back as we get a few days into the new year. with that 540 line once again diving pretty deep down, and here comes the cold air to follow behind it. And then we have to just watch after that. The thing that, you can see why the pattern is weird, because a ridge is dominating the lower 48. Okay, all this orange and stuff like that, that is a ridge. Just think of that as a ridge of high pressure over the entire lower 48. This is what's going to bring us the above average temperatures. What you'll notice here is you'll have these little impulses of energy like right here. See how that's kind of moving? That's an area of energy. And then we have this area of energy trying to get going here. It's embedded into the ridge. Okay, so this ridge kind of weakens these storm systems. It kind of influences the directional pull of them, kind of weird. So we got this little cutoff low just kind of chilling down here. And these are notoriously hard to forecast. And we have this upper low developing right here. This kind of just gets lost in the flow. Then here comes another one dropping down. And it's just stuff is everywhere. This thing gets pushed all the way down to Mexico. And then we have maybe a pattern changing storm system that drops down right here. And this could open up the gates of cold air as we are getting into the new year. But it's a tough one to figure out. If you look at the Euro ensemble, a lot of people are starting to honk the horn a little bit into about the first or second week of January for something to change back to a pattern that favors winter weather for more than just the north. And if you're looking here, this is getting into next Friday, about a week from today. Ridge still pretty much impacting all of North America. But here's that signal for that energy that kind of dives down to the western U.S. Now, this trough, that's like a giant cutoff low, upper level low at first, amplifies and attaches to some troughing off the eastern U.S. And all of a sudden, we're getting ridging building back up to Alaska, as you can tell. And we have a trough that's starting to show up and the way out there in the long range, like the first few days of January on the Euro ensemble. But models keep showing this. So we're returning the ridge back to Alaska. This would dislodge cold air into lower pressure in the blue. Things could get, wintry once again as we're getting into the first or second week of January. I think that'll take a while to kind of introduce this pattern. But this is definitely showing up. Energy, of course, would come down here into the cooler air. Just got to see what's going to happen. That's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful start to your weekend.